So, good morning, Mr. Enrique.
Good morning, Mr.
How are you doing?
Santiago. Good morning, everybody. I'm fine.
Welcome. Okay, so mm, today we're going to start talking about comparison. So I'm going to share my script, okay? So let me see, is here, is from here. So making comparisons. So pages from the PDF in 18 and 169. But let's start with 169 because there's explanation. So making comparisons, okay? So it says comparative and superlative form of the adjectives and adverbs. We studied this last level, right? But we're going to review it again. So it says for comparative, remember for comparative adjectives or adverbs, for short adjectives, we use or we add er at the end, right? Adjective or adverb plus year, right? Do you remember about this? Plus than, more, adjective or adverb plus than. So, tennis is cheaper than golf. Mariana works harder than before. Golf is more expensive than tennis. So remember, for short adjectives or adverbs, we add er, right? But for long one, more than one syllable, we don't add anything. We just put more. So notice, expensive, three syllables. So instead of add er, we use more. Golf is more expensive than tennis. It rained more often than in the past. Okay, and for superlative, we use est, right? We add est at the end of the adjectives, one syllable. So the adjective plus or adverb plus est, the most, or the most plus adjective and adverb. So est for short one and the most for the long one, more than one syllable, right? So here we have some examples. Chess is one of the cheapest, cheap, one syllable, cheapest hobbies. Playing team sport is the most sociable free time activity. Sociable, three syllables, more than one. That's why we use the most. So remember, with adjective, with comparative, we use er or more and than. It is important to use than. And with superlatives, we use est or the most, right? And remember, we also use the article the, even though if we add est, the cheapest, the most sociable. Okay, so far, do you have any question?
No question.
No, it's that kind of review, right? Suppose we studied this before. So then it says add er and est with one syllable adjectives. Fiona is fitter than last year, right? So one syllable fit, and remember, its adjective is consonant, vowel consonant. We have to double the last consonant and then add er. So notice fit with double T at the end because it's consonant, vowel, consonant. Two syllables adjectives ending in Y and Y, happy, friendly. Okay. Adjectives ending in I and IL. Okay, happy, friendly. More, my brothers, the friendliest. So notice we change the Y for I. Instead of Y, we use I. My brother, the friendliest person in my family, right? Use more and most. Adjectives of two syllables or more, except two syllable adjectives ending in Y or LI, like this, right? Mm, biking is the most dangerous activity, right? The most dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Three syllables. That's why we have to use the most. So remember, one syllable with this section. Adjectives or adverbs ending in Y or ly, like friendly or happy, happier, friendliest, or friendlier. So far, do you have any question about this part, this explanation?
Yes, mister. I have a question. How you do say how do you say happy?
Ha-
Happiness.
happier or happiest, depending. It is a comparative, happier, right? Let me see where can I type the thing here. Happier. It is a comparative, but it is a superlative, happiest, right? We drop the Y,
Okay,
quitamos la Y, and we add la I, year, ER for comparative, and EST for superlative, right? El más feliz o más
okay,
feliz que, depending on. Okay, thank you, Miss Enrique.
okay,
Thank you for asking. If you have any question, please don't hesitate. It is clear now, Miss
okay.
Enrique.
It's clear.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So finally, remember that some irregulars, they're changed completely. So, for example, we have good. The comparative form of good is better, and the superlative is best. They are irregular. They don't follow the rules, right? Well, this is the adverb changed to better and best. So good and better and well changed to better and best. Much, this is an adverb changed to more or most. More or most. Little changed for least as a comparative and least as a superlative, right? Bad and badly, both this is the adjective and this is the adverb, change for worse and words, right? This is the comparative and this is the superlative. Many, as much, change for more or most. And finally, far has two for farther or further for the comparative, or farthest and furthest for the superlative. So far, do you have any question? These are the
Perfect.
irregulars. We need to learn about them. We need to memorize this one, right? Okay, it says to say two things are the same, equality, we use as plus adjective plus as. In this case, it's tan como, like this, as, tan, then we use an adjective, then we use again as. And this as means como, tan como. So, she finds doing aerobics as interesting as playing team sports. Aerobic as tan interesting, interesante, as como playing team sport. This is equality. Tan como. Okay. This means she finds doing aerobics and playing sport equality interesting. Equality, right? As. To say one thing is less than another, we use not, so, or as plus adjective plus as. So in this case, we just do it negative. So window shopping is not so or as enjoyable as clubbing. So in this case, we use verb to be and we negative the verb to be, right? Less or least plus adjective to say is menos. In this case, negative is not as, not tanto or not tan como, right? This is not equality. This is different. Okay, less and least. Playing chess is less healthy than playing team sport. Menos, right? In this case, less is a comparative to say is menos. Less healthy than playing sport. And clubbing is the least healthy activity you can do. So notice this is the comparative, less, and least is the superlative, es la menos saludable, right? The less healthy. Es menos saludable que less and least. Okay. So far, do you have any question? Okay, that's great. So, comparison of adverbs, adjectives, adverbs. Add er and est with one syllable adverbs, hard, fast, straight. My mom worked harder than my dad. Okay, here I would like to remember something. Remember that adjectives describe a subject, a noun, describe a noun. Los adjetivos describen un sustantivo. And the adverbs can describe adjectives, verbs, and another adverb. So in this case, harder is describing the verb work, right? So harder. My mom worked harder than my dad, right? We need to keep in mind that. Okay, this is similar like or to adjectives, right? Use more and most with two syllables verb including adverbs ending in ly. So Maria read the test more quickly than Susana. So notice here, different from adjectives. We say that in adjectives, when finishing y or ly, we drop the y and we add I, E, R, right? And here we don't do that. We just use or we add more because anyway, notice this, more than one syllable. Quickly, two syllables. Do you notice the difference? Yes or no? Okay, again. So notice here, in adjectives, sorry, it says two syllable adjectives ending in y and ly, like happy or friendly. My mother is friendliest person in my family. It says we drop the y o quitamos la y and we add I, E, S, T or I, E, R, right? This is adjectives, adjectives. But with adverbs, we don't do that. We just add more or most. Maria read the test more quickly than Susan. She visits me more often than in the past, right? Often is an adverb of frequency, right? Okay. Often, and it's two syllables. Often. Okay, this adverb form irregular comparison. Well, better, best. Badly, worse, worse. This is adverbs. So, to say two things are the same, use as plus adverb plus as. Like in adjectives, the same, right? As. For example, Julia finished the exercises as quickly as Mark. So, quickly is modifying or giving us information about finish it, the verb, right? So, as quickly as Mark. Julia and Mark finished the exercise equally quickly. Tan rápido como. To say that we do one thing differently from another, we use not so or not as plus adverb plus as. Sofía doesn't speak Spanish as well as Gordon, right? También, no habla español, también como. Okay, this is negative. We can use words and phrases with comparative form to express large and small differences. There are some way of expressing a large difference. So, much, far, a lot, or considerable. An adjective plus adverb plus er. More plus adjective plus adverb. So let's check the example. Playing team sport is much riskier than many people imagine. So we can use large different, right? In this case, this is the keywords large different. We use much, far, a lot, and considerable, right? So playing team sport is much riskier than many people imagine. Not nearly as adjective plus adjective or adverb plus as. Some mobile apps are not nearly as difficult to use as difficult to use as normal computer programs. So not nearly as plus adjective plus as. So notice here we are using nearly plus as. Then finally we have, there are some ways to express a small difference. So this is a middle difference, large difference, middle difference with nearly, right? And a small difference, right? So we can use slightly, a bit, a little, plus adjective or adverb, plus year or more, plus adjective or adverb. People drive slightly slower than they did in the past. La gente maneja un poquito más despacio de lo que lo hacían en el pasado. Not quiet as adjective plus adjective or adverb plus as. I don't find running quiet as enjoyable as cycling. Okay, so far, do you have any questions? I think the only thing that is new is this part. right? So, do you have any question?
More productive.
Practice. Okay, we're going to start practicing, of course. So, first of all, I would like to highlight that notice that this part just works
In
with
Mr.
comparative.
Santiago, in large difference, I don't understand.
Okay, we use comparative to make comparisons, ¿cierto? Para hacer comparaciones. Here we're making a comparison, pero estamos intentando decir que hay una diferencia muy grande entre una cosa y la otra. So, to do this, we need to use one of these words. Much, far, a lot, or considerable. Any of these, right? So, for example, playing team sport is much riskier. Notice this is the adjective with ear. Risk, just one syllable. Riskier, risky, riskier, sorry, here. So, playing team sport is much. We need to use one of these words to say there's a large difference. Riskier than many people imagine. O sea, jugar deportes de equipo es mucho, mucho más peligroso de la que la gente imagina. Right? You're making a large or a big difference. You're emphasizing in that. Sí, está enfatizando como la diferencia es más grande de lo que la gente imagina. It is clear, Angeli. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for asking. That's
Yes, Mr.
important.
Santiago, thank you.
Let me see. No. So let's come back to page 19. Okay, now in this part it says making comparisons. Circle the correct phrase in italics in the extracts from the listening part 2. Then listen again and check your answers. So let's try. The first one, Ariana.
My aims, my aims when I was at school were a bit
More or some more.
more, a bit some more.
Some more. Okay, we're going to listen again, no worries. Remember, a bit more is small difference and some more is a large difference. M's, what is the meaning of M's, Ariana?
I don't know.
Like adjectives, like goals, como objetivos, metas. M's.
Okay.
Okay, thank you again. Okay, Miss Enrique, number 2. I thought
I thought that would be more safer,
safer or much safer.
my safer where I
Which one? You
made
need to decide it. More or much?
okay more safer career
Okay, thank you. Where I make
where I made far
far more or much money.
much money
Much
than
money.
developing
Okay,
game.
thank you. Angeli, number 3.
At the time, it was the more exciting thing in my life.
Okay, we're going to check it at the end. Ariana, number 4, please.
And then I had this opportunity which was even better, even
Even,
better,
which was even better. Okay.
better, yes.
Angeli, number 5.
I worked much. Okay, okay, much harder than I ever worked at school.
Thank you. Ariana, again, number 6.
Uh, Games development is the mm, is the mm, most creative, I think.
Okay, here you have a clue, the. Remember we use the article the with superlative. Okay, thank you. So finally, Mr. Enrique, number 7 and number 8, please.
Yeah, number 7. One of the very biggest thriller. Okay, one of the biggest thriller for me was when I one of my games.
Okay, and number 8.
I don't want to spend so much time on things.
Okay, thank you. Before to continue to check it, we're going to listen. I'm going to take the attendance before I forget. Sorry. Okay. So remember we had some clues. For example, with superlative we use the, article the. As, we have to use as, right? To us. Okay, let me see. I'm going to send this and I'm going to play the audio. Attendance, me2, accent. Okay, let me see. I thought this was audio track 5. Let me see.
Unit 2, Listening Part 2, Exercise 4.
So let's pay attention to this.
Good morning. It's great to be visiting this school and talking to you. As you know, my name's Mike Selby and I'm a games developer. I thought I'd tell you a bit about my background and my job because for many young people, it's the sort of job they dream of doing. You know, turning your hobby into a career, so to speak. Well, it'll be no surprise to you that when I was a kid, I used to play video games and things like that. I was also a huge fan of science fiction, and I used to read whatever I could get my hands on. I spent hours doing that, even when my mum and dad thought I was up in my room doing my homework. Anyway, I never really expected to become a games developer. My aims when I was at school were a bit more realistic, I think. And my dream, actually, was to become a computer programmer. I mean, I was good at developing software, and I thought that'd be a much safer career, where I'd make far more money than developing games. But, you know, games were a bit of a passion of mine. And while I was at school, I got together with a few of my friends, and we set up something we called the Games Creation Club. You know, we'd go through the process of having an idea, planning, sitting down and developing software and so on. At the time, it was just about the most exciting thing in my life, and I spent all my free time doing it. And then I was given this opportunity, which was even better. Word got around that I was good at writing software, and a local company belonging to someone's dad offered me a summer job. Of course, I had planned to go traveling with friends, but the chance to gain experience doing what I enjoyed was just too good to miss. In the end, I worked for the same people for 2 summers. I worked much harder than I ever worked at school, and I loved every minute of it. Games development is the most creative thing you can imagine, and you can go wherever your imagination takes you. I love it. I love working on the problems, and I love carrying out experiments to work out how to deal with those problems. Also, it's a very rich environment. And one thing which makes it so good is that I find myself working with colleagues whose skills and interests are completely different from mine. I think that it actually helps to have a good, diverse range of people in the team, and we all learn from each other. In fact, you probably have an image in your minds of a games developer sitting alone in front of a screen all day. In fact, it's an extremely social activity. We're always swapping ideas, playing games together, even going out to the cinema as a group and picking up ideas there. While I'm on the subject, cinema is another of my passions. And one of the biggest thrills for me was when one of my games, The Snake Quest, was made into a film. Have any of you seen it? Yeah. You have? Great. I hope you liked it. Nowadays, I prefer to work on smaller games than that one. The reason being that those huge complex games take several years to make, and I don't like to spend so much time on things. I prefer a bit more variety. Well, I hope I've managed to inspire a few of you here. Just to let you know that in the next few months, I'm planning to set up my own business developing games.
Okay, now let's try to do it again. Let's try to answer. The first one. Let me see. My aims when I was at school were a bit more or some more. What do you understand?
A bit, a
Bit
bit
more.
more.
Okay, thank you. I thought that would be more safer or much safer.
Much safer.
Much safer.
Much,
Much safer.
Yes.
Okay. Where I make far money or much money?
much money.
Much money. So far, so good. At the time, I was not the most or the more exciting in my life.
More exciting.
The most.
The most. At the time, o en ese momento, it was the most exciting thing in my
Okay.
life. Fue la cosa más emocionante en mi vida. Remember, we have that called the most. Okay, because it's called with most. Okay. And then I had this opportunity, which was even
Better.
better, Ariana. You're right, better. Angeli, did you get it? Did you understand the audio? Okay, thank you. Okay, I worked much harder, as you mentioned it, Angeli, right? Than I ever worked at school. Development is the more or the most?
Most.
Most. The
Most
most creative thing you can imagine. One of my very big or my biggest thriller for me, one of the
big.
Big.
biggest, you're right. Trailers, emociones, trailers. For me, it was when one of my games, the Snake Quest, was made into a film. I don't want to spend as many or so much time on things.
So much.
So much.
So
Okay, you did it pretty good. Congratulations. So we're going to stop working here in the book and let's work on booklet. Okay, let's try with something different. So I'm going to start presenting. I'm going to join the game. So give me a moment. So far, so good. You're doing pretty good. Remember, if you have any question, you can let me know. Okay. So through the chat, I'm going to send you a link. So far. In here. Sorry. One computer. So let me see. Okay. I'm going to host. I'm going to send you the code in the
ID.
way you can join. Tell me, Miss Enrique.
El ID.
I'm going to send you. Give me a moment. I'm hosting. Okay. I'm going to copy paste in the chat. Here you are. Sorry. So please join. In this case, it's about adverbs, comparative adverbs. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen. Maybe it's easy for you to write down the code in that way. Okay, Ariana, welcome, Ariana. And Miss Enrique, welcome. Mhm. And Angeli, so let's start it. Okay, as you know, it's just to choose the correct answer. And if you answer correctly, you're going to choose a chest. So go ahead. The idea is you're trying to try to get as much candies as possible. Okay, Miss Enrique, good job. Remember, these are adverbs. Adverbs. By the way, let me see something. It says this. In the chat, I sent you rules. You need to check it again. Talking about adverbs specifically. Okay, Angeli, you're doing pretty good. Ariana, what happened? Hi, Miss Enrique, what happened? Someone took candy from you. Ah, Angeli swapped with you. Angeli, you're doing pretty good. Congratulations. You're pretty competitive. Ah, Okay, 1 minute left. Angeli, what happened? Angeli, but you can come back to the game, no worries. You have time enough. Okay, time is over. Let's check. So, Angeli, my gosh, the third one, Ariana, second one, and the winner, Mr. Enrique. Well done. You did it pretty good. Congratulations. Do you have any questions so far?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Santiago, in one question, I don't understand. The question say the cheetah run. I don't remember. Run most more. Era como más rápido, more faster, no, more
Quickly?
quickly than other animals, but
Uh-huh. What is the question? Hmm.
in twice I chose the incorrect option.
Comparative.
En la opción que siempre escogía salía incorrecta, pero según yo estaba correcta.
Let me see if I can find again this game to check your question. Because sometimes this game have some mistakes. I think it was this one. Let me see. Yes, so the cheetah. Let me see, class.
Puede ser que yo me haya equivocado.
Check was the race was the cheetah ram. Okay, so here, okay, I'm going to share my screen. Is this one, right? The cheetah ran than the dog. More quickly. This is the correct answer. Sorry. The cheetah, more quickly. Did you click on more quickly?
No, 12. The cheetah run
Sorry.
most quick. Yeah, okay. Yes.
More. Okay, because
Yes,
notice this is
indeed.
comparing with. Okay. Yes, it is clear, Angeli. Do you notice the difference?
No,
Okay, so here in the number 11, it's comparing the cheetah with one thing, with a dog, just one. But
no.
here it says
Okay.
cheetah ran most quickly than all other animals. This is a group. It means it's the most quickly, es el más rápido de todos, right? Es el más rápido de un grupo. Ese grupo es todos los animales de la sabana. The cheetah ran most quickly than all other animals in the savannah. It's the most faster in this group of animals, animals from la sabana. Do you notice the difference? Here is just a dog, just one. And here is more than one. It's the most quick in a group. De un grupo de algo. Es el más rápido de algo. Do you notice the difference, Angeli? Okay, thank you for
Get.
asking. Thank you so much. That's important you ask. Thank you. So let's try with another game. Let me see. Now, this was adverbs, right? Let's try now with adjectives. So please click on play again, and we're going to try. Like this one. Okay, so I'm going to send you the code. So give me a moment. Let me check this time. Okay, this is enough. So in the chat, I paste the code. Here you are. So this is adjectives, right? Okay, Ariana, welcome. Okay, all of you are here, so let's start it. Are you ready? Let's start it. So this is the hacking one. Remember, you have to choose a code. Miss Enrique, what happened? Everything is okay?
It's okay.
Okay, that's great. Ellie, you're on fire. Good job. Just 1 minute left, okay? Okay, 1 second left. Time is over. So let's check the standings. Miss Enrique, Angeli, and Ariana. Angeli, what happened? You always started being the first.
35.
Okay, anyway, good job. Do you have any question about this?
No
No
question.
questions. Okay, so Angeli, could you tell me, Angeli?
Yes. Yes. The same question. In a question, say,
Let me see. Go
no sé
ahead.
el nombre de esto. Sí, bueno, había una chica, el nombre decía, the strongest, the more, no, stronger than all family.
Strongest.
Era lo mismo.
Ajá.
Ajá, ajá. Yo le puse strongest, pero en la opción decía stronger.
Let me see if I can find it again. Sorry, this time I closed this. Let me see if I can find it again. So I can remember. It was like, okay, I think it's this one with the elephants. No. No.
Luisa is strongest. Yo le puse.
Let me see. I'm trying to find it again.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, it's this one. So the blue, the boy, the man, the Princess Maria, the Deadpool, Superman, Mr. Bean, Plankton, Distinct Monkey, Rich, Giraffe, Phineas, Best Boy, everyone. Penguin, Tiger, Hercules, Luisa. Okay, so, but here we have a clue. And it is than. Right? Let me share my screen. I found and I understand your question. So it says, is this last one. Luisa is stronger because of the than. Remember, we use than with comparative all of her family members. But actually, You're right. It's suppose we have to use the strongest. But this is a mistake from the people who create these questions. Okay? I understand your point, and you're right. It's supposed to be Luisa is the strongest because it's a group. Luisa is the strongest member of her family, right? Because Luisa is stronger than all her family members. Here is supposed to be that we need to use a specific member. For example, Luisa is stronger than her sister. That's okay, right? But as we are telling that Luisa is strong, the strongest from a group, we have to use superlative. This is a mistake from the question. Okay, Angeli? I mean, you were right. You're right. You were right. It's supposed to be that the correct option is strongest, the strongest. But in this case, it's because of the than. Okay, Angeli, it is clear. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, más o menos.
Okay, let's
O sea,
say
yo le pondría, yo siempre usaría stronger, pero en la otra pregunta,
okay,
¿por
no.
qué
Es más como un error de la composición de esto.
Ah, ya, ok,
Estaba
ok,
bien. Sí, debería
ya.
ser strongest. Strongest porque estamos diciendo que es la más
Ah,
fuerte de un
stronger, ok,
grupo. No es
ok.
stronger, sino strongest. Entonces el error es más en la pregunta, en cómo está diseñada y la opción correcta, que en su respuesta. Sí, su respuesta fue correcta.
Pero
Aquel error
entonces
es
sí se puede usar superlativo para hacer comparación.
no. O sea, es que superlativo es una comparación, ¿sí? En sí es una comparación. Pero una comparación en la que decimos que es el más de algo, o el menos de algo, el mejor en algo, o el peor en algo, o el más alto, o el más bajo, o el más inteligente, o el menos inteligente, ¿sí? Es el más, o el menos de algo. Estamos comparando un individuo con un grupo, ¿sí? Con más de uno. Ok, Angeli.
Ya.
Okay, give me a moment. I'm going to take a screenshot. Anyway, the idea tomorrow is to start the class reviewing and practicing a little bit more, okay? So I'm going to bring a video with another explanation to get clearer, okay? So thank you so much. See you tomorrow and take care.
See you tomorrow.
See you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for
Bye
asking. It's
bye.
important you make
Bye bye.
questions. Bye bye.